Welcome to our deep dive, everybody. Unlocking creativity. That's what we're after today. We're diving deep into The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Oh, it's a classic, really. I mean, this book has helped so many people find that creative spark, the one that's maybe buried under, I don't know, self-doubt or just life getting in the way.
Exactly. And she calls this hidden creativity the shadow artist, right? It's that part of us that wants to create, but we just kind of push it down for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah. She's got this great example about Edwin. He's a millionaire trader, right? But he collects art because deep down he wishes he'd gone into visual arts himself.
Wow. So he's got all the success in the world, but still has that what if feeling. Makes you think how many others are out there like that.
Definitely.
So how do we even start to feel safe being creative again? Like get back that permission to just create.
Well, Cameron talks about nurturing your artist child.
Okay.
It's all about appreciating those early creative impulses you had, no matter how, silly or imperfect they might seem. Like, what did you love to do as a kid? Did you draw, sing, build things? Those early passions, they often hold the key.
So giving ourselves permission to play again, like without judgment.
Exactly. And ditching that either thinking, Like you can either be successful conventionally or be an artist. Cameron says no. Embrace the and. Let your creativity make every part of your life better.
That's a much better way to think about it. But what about those blocks we hit, like fear of failing, perfectionism, or even people in our lives who kind of drain our creative energy?
Oh, yeah. She calls them crazy makers, those people.
Yeah, the crazy maker.
She's got some great tools for dealing with all that head on. One of them is morning pages.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so you write 3 pages every morning, just free writing.
So like journaling, but without any rule?
Exactly. Just let it all flow out. And here's a tip. Don't reread them right away. Just let them be, Come back later with a fresh perspective.
That's a great tip. And what about artist dates? I've heard those mentioned too.
Ah, those are solo adventures just for your soul. It's about making time for things that bring you joy and wonder, visiting a museum, exploring a new part of town, being in nature, anything like that. Just approach it with a sense of curiosity and see where it takes you.
Sounds like a great way to refill the creative well, so to speak.
It really is. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about what feeds your soul.
So we're giving ourselves permission to play, to explore, and to nurture that creative spark. It's a real journey of self-discovery, isn't it?
It really is. And Cameron's work, it reminds us we all have that potential inside waiting to be unleashed.
It's true. But honestly, we all get caught up seeking validation from others sometimes. How do we deal with feedback and criticism without letting it completely derail us?
That's where building a strong inner compass comes in. It's about knowing what feedback is actually useful and what's just negativity. Stay true to your vision, even if others don't get it. Remember, your creative expression is for you, first and foremost.
So trust our gut and not let other people's opinions dictate our choices.
Exactly. Not everyone will resonate with your work, and that's okay. It's about it feeling true and authentic to you. Sometimes the most powerful creations are the ones that challenge the norm, the ones that spark a debate.
It's about the journey, not the destination. Trusting the process more than getting hung up on the outcome.
You got it. Cameron really emphasizes that, shifting our focus from the end product to the journey itself. The magic, the real magic, is in the creating, the experimenting, the doing.
Love that. Now, this next concept might seem a little odd, but Cameron talks about reading deprivation.
Yeah, it might sound counterintuitive, especially for a book about creativity, but hear me out.
I'm listening.
So she says, for a lot of artists, words can actually be like tiny tranquilizers. They numb us to the sensory world and block our creative flow.
So taking a break from reading, even for a bit, can help.
Exactly. It's like creating space for new insights to pop up. And it often means rediscovering play, doing things just for the joy of it.
Like hitting the reset button on our creative minds.
Exactly. It's not about abandoning books forever, but finding balance and letting your other senses wake up. You'd be surprised how much inspiration comes when you step away from the written word for a bit.
It reminds us that creativity isn't just about what we take in, but how we experience the whole world around us. Now, this next idea might seem even more counterintuitive, but Cameron says embracing anger can actually fuel creative expression.
Yeah, she sees anger as a signal, like a map showing us our boundaries and what truly matters to us.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's about asking yourself, what's this anger trying to tell me? What boundaries have been crossed? What needs are not being met?
So instead of ignoring it, we listen to it,
Yeah.
try to understand it.
Exactly. It can be powerful for reclaiming your power and setting healthy boundaries. But it doesn't mean lashing out, of course. It's about understanding the root cause and using that to fuel your creative work.
This has been so insightful already. We've touched on the shadow artist, nurturing our creative child, using tools like morning pages and artist dates to break through those blocks. We even talked about reading deprivation and embracing anger.
And we're just getting started. There's so much more to explore in the artist's way. Welcome back. We're going to dive into something that might surprise you, the idea that luxury can actually boost your creativity.
Luxury, huh? Now that's a concept I can get behind. But honestly, when I hear luxury, I think big bucks,
Wow.
something kind of out of reach for most people.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people think, but Cameron's view of luxury is different. It's about taking care of your soul, creating a sense of abundance, realizing you deserve to be treated well, and that even small treats can make a huge difference for your well-being, especially when it comes to being creative.
So it's not about fancy stuff then.
Not really. It's more about making choices that enrich your life, things that feel luxurious to you. Could be buying yourself some flowers, taking a long bath, or just enjoying some tea and music. It's about those small joys, the ones that nourish your spirit.
I'm seeing how this ties into creativity. When you feel good, you're more open to inspiration.
Exactly. Cameron also says it's really important to know what you need and want as an artist and to honor those things. Give yourself permission to do things that bring you joy and fuel your creativity.
So it's like shifting your mindset from I don't have enough to there's plenty for me.
You got it. When you come from that place of abundance, you're more likely to experiment, take risks, and just let your creativity flow without that fear of messing up or being judged.
This reminds me of that idea of an artist altar.
Ah, yes, Cameron talks about those.
So what is an artist altar exactly, and how does it fit into this whole luxury thing?
Think of it as a dedicated space. It could be just a corner or a whole room where you can connect with that spiritual side and make your creative practice feel sacred.
Like a little sanctuary for your creative spirit.
Precisely. It's a place to gather things that inspire you, to set intentions for your work, or just be present with your creative energy. Some people go all out with candles and crystals and stuff, while others keep it simple. It's all about what feels right for you.
What about making it sensory? Like we were saying before about luxury being about your senses.
Great point. Our senses are huge for the creative process. If you include things you like to see, smell, touch, hear, you create an environment that sparks your imagination.
It's like essential oils, soft textures, images that inspire you, maybe some calming music. You'd have a totally immersive experience.
Exactly. It's all about making it a space that feels both luxurious and inspiring.
This all ties back to paying attention to the little things in life, right? Those sights, sounds, smells, textures we usually don't even think about.
You got it. Cameron wants us to be mindful, to appreciate the beauty all around us, even in ordinary moments. When you start seeing the world like an artist, it opens up so many creative possibilities.
This is awesome, but let's be real. It can be hard to keep that momentum going. To avoid those moments where you just want to give up, when fear and self-doubt creep in. Does Cameron have any advice for staying on track?
Oh yeah, she talks a lot about recognizing and dealing with resistance.
Resistance?
Yeah, it's basically those negative thoughts and feelings that hold you back. It's about seeing them for what they are and choosing to move forward anyway.
Like building up that creative resilience, being able to bounce back from setbacks.
Exactly. You're going to face challenges, it's inevitable, but how you react is what matters. Cameron also says that our creative dreams often have a bigger purpose. She talks about God's will, but not in a strict religious way, more like a guiding force leading us toward our true calling.
So trusting that you're on the right path even when things get tough.
You got it. It's about having faith in the process, believing that things are working out in your favor, even when you can't see the whole picture yet.
It's like that quote, follow your bliss and doors will open where there were no doors before. It's about being brave enough to trust your gut and keep going.
I love that quote. It captures what Cameron is saying perfectly. And even when you do feel lost, there are things you can do. She suggests making a list of small, doable steps you can take each day to reach your goals.
So instead of freaking out about the big picture, break it down into manageable chunks.
Precisely. It could be writing for 15 minutes, sketching something, even just brainstorming. The point is to focus on the process, one step at a time, and celebrate those small wins.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. We've all heard that one. Speaking of steps, Cameron also talks about how being physically active helps with creativity. Seems kind of random, but she sees a link.
Totally. Exercise isn't just for your body, it helps your creative energy too. When you move, you clear your mind, stress goes down, and new possibilities open up.
So like walking, yoga, dancing around the house, anything goes.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a marathon. Just find something you enjoy that gives you energy and inspiration. Cameron even says to try different types of movement and pay attention to how they make you feel. You might be surprised at what sparks new ideas.
Wow, this is all really insightful. But what about dealing with the highs and lows of being creative? Those times you feel amazing and then bam, self-doubt hits and you question everything.
That's when having a strong inner compass comes in handy. Success and recognition are great, but they can't be the only things that matter.
So it's about balancing external validation with internal fulfillment, creating work that feels true to you, no matter what other people think.
Exactly. And that means learning to handle both praise and criticism, knowing when to take feedback to heart and when to just let it go. Cameron reminds us that not everyone will get our work, and that's okay. The main thing is staying true to your vision and creating from that authentic place.
This brings us back to trusting ourselves and the creative process. We've covered a lot in this part of our deep dive. We talked about luxury as self-care, creating an artist's altar, and taking practical steps to stay motivated and overcome those creative roadblocks.
We even touched on how being active helps and the challenge of dealing with success and criticism, but there's even more to uncover in the artist's way.
We're back, and we've talked about nurturing our creativity, but what about protecting it?
Self-protection. So important, right? It's like we think about self-care, we think bubble baths, face masks, all that good stuff, which is great. But Cameron's talking about going deeper, protecting that creative energy like it's something truly valuable.
Like a precious resource,
Yeah.
right? Because it is. It's what fuels our passions.
Yeah.
So how do we actually DO that? Do we need to build walls around ourselves?
Not walls exactly, but think of it like developing really good judgment. Learning what feeds your creativity and what drains it, then setting those boundaries to protect yourself.
Makes sense.
Cameron talks about some specific dangers to watch out for, like crazy makers, she calls them. People who mess with your energy, totally disrupt your creative flow.
Yeah. We all know those people. The energy vampires.
Right. Think about the people who always cross your boundaries, don't respect your needs, create chaos. They might be super demanding, manipulative, or just clueless about how they affect others.
Yeah, they suck the air out of the room, leave you feeling exhausted and discouraged.
Exactly. And the tricky part is sometimes these crazy makers are people we love, friends, family, coworkers even. Takes a lot of self-awareness to see it and set those boundaries to protect your creative space.
So it's not just about outside negativity, but also those patterns we have ourselves, the ones that sabotage our creativity.
You got it. Sometimes we're attracted to those crazy makers because, I don't know, maybe we're looking for drama without realizing it. Or we don't believe we deserve healthy boundaries. Seeing those patterns is the first step to breaking free.
Makes me think about acceptance, something else Cameron talks about. Is there a connection there?
Totally. Acceptance is about seeing your reality, good and bad, without judgment. It's saying yes to your imperfections, your limits, but also your strengths and talents. Knowing your creative journey will have ups and downs, times you're brilliant and times you feel totally lost. It's all part of it.
So it's like surrendering to the journey, trusting that you're exactly where you need to be, even when it's tough.
That's it. Cameron's big on letting go of controlling the outcome, just embracing the journey itself, not forcing things, but letting them unfold.
That's easier said than done sometimes. What about that fear of judgment, of criticism? That can really hold people back.
Oh, for sure. Cameron says to shift your focus. Instead of seeking approval from others, aim for internal satisfaction. Create work that speaks to your soul, not what you think others want.
So trusting your artistic vision, even if it's not what's popular or trendy.
Exactly. Not everyone will get it, and that's okay. What matters is that it feels true to you. She even has this cool tool for dealing with criticism. She calls it the jealousy map.
A jealousy map, what's that?
Basically, you figure out what makes you jealous and then explore those feelings. It can help you uncover deeper desires and goals you might not have even realized were there.
So instead of letting jealousy eat you up, you use it to guide you.
Exactly. It often points to things you really want in your creative life.
Comparison is the thief of joy, right? When you're busy focusing on what everyone else is doing, You lose sight of your own path.
Totally. And it loops back to self-protection, not just setting boundaries with other people, but also with those negative thoughts and behaviors we direct at ourselves.
We're often our own worst critics, right?
Truth. Cameron wants us to be kinder to ourselves,
Hmm?
treat that inner artist with the same compassion we'd give a good friend.
We could all use a little more of that. This whole conversation has really been about empowering you, the listener, to tap into your creativity. The artist's way gives you the tools, the practices to get there.
It's been an incredible exploration.
We covered so much. Embracing that shadow artist, nurturing that playful, creative part of ourselves, and recognizing those blocks that get in the way. We talked about morning pages, artist dates, all those things that help unlock the flow.
We dug into the spiritual side of it, the importance of taking care of yourself, those weird coincidences that feel like guidance. And we talked about acceptance, the courage to protect your energy, and how to deal with both success and criticism. But it's just the start.
The real magic happens when you take all this and make it your own. Keep exploring, keep creating, and trust those creative whispers inside you. The world needs your unique voice.